Alrighty, what's up YouTube? So, first video of the YouTube finals. I wanted to start this LEGO channel for a long time now. It's just hard when I'm at college and don't have all my stuff with me. You'll see in a few weeks back at home I got all my stuff. But I have a few things I brought back, so we're going to be reviewing those today. At school right now, this is going to change in a few months when I move out, but this is set up. We got the Kim Jong-un live, laugh, love flag. My little ukulele, which I never played but want to get good at. The little lights, which half of them are burnt out now, but you know what, I got for $2 at Walmart, so it's fine. But yeah, so we're going to hop right in, get this first review going today. I'm going to plug some stuff first. So I have a Mercari and a whatnot. eBay soon, maybe you can start finding stuff at. And sell stuff there for a couple months now. But currently got 4 of the new Mace Windu's from that Republic Fighter. So if you guys want one of those, go pick them up. If you come from the channel, I'm going to give you a discount. So just DM me on Mercari or eBay or wherever you find them. Tell me you're from the channel and I'll give you that discount. But yeah, so we're going to hop right in today. We have 3 of my all-time favorite sets. And I think these just go together so well. First off, we got Obi Wan's Jedi Starfighter. And we got Anakin's Jedi Starfighter, which I don't have an R2-D2 at school with me. I just got this, so it is currently Chopper in there. It will be R2 and obviously should be, but it's currently Chopper. And then we've got Plo Koon's Starfighter. Alrighty, so we're going to start with Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Starfighter. Like I said, we got Chopper in here, so normally this would be R2, but right now it's Chopper just because I bought this used because this retired in I think 2020, something like that, like a few years ago, not too long, but a few years ago. So you can't buy this retail, so I just bought it used. Got a steal on this thing too, but it's got overall just great build, fun build experience. Probably my favorite build experience of the 4 sets. It's just really good build. But this Anakin fig especially is one of my favorite figs I have, and my favorite Anakin for sure. So as you can see, it's just got really good printing on the legs. That torso printing is really good. Then he's got the little microphone piece right there, and if you flip this off, it's got a reverse face, which I think is just fantastic. And overall, just a great fig. 10 out of 10 on the fig. No arm printing, but I don't feel a fig like this that comes in like a $25, $30 set when it retailed needs arm printing. The cockpit, you can see Anakin's got little controls and stuff right there on his control panel, which is great. I love the easily access, just flap down, and Obi Wan's has the same exact thing. I think that's just a great feature these have. I have seen some mocks where this actually wraps over so you can't open this, but it does look very good when this kind of, so you can imagine it wraps over a little bit and just covers right there. Makes it just look a little cleaner. I always take the studs out just because I feel like it looks a little better if you're going to display it without the like neon green there that isn't there in the movies or the shows. But overall, just a great set. A few sticker pieces that come in here, but nothing too much. You got the Republic symbol on the side, and if we flip it over, you've got these 2 engines on the bottom with the neon, I guess, propulsion system, you could call it, coming out, whatever you want to name it. But the yellow and dark gray just goes really well together, and I'm glad they only kept it to these 2 colors with some highlights of white and black. Just very simple. Honestly, probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10 set. Just really good build, really simple. These Starfighters just always pretty solid builds. And now we're going to get into Obi Wan's Starfighter, which just came out last year, 2022. That's summer release. You got Obi Wan in here with his extra hairpiece, which I have on the bottom. I can show you guys. And it came out with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, even though this is obviously from episode 2. But you got my favorite Obi-Wan fig. Just a really clean fig. You got the torso printing that goes up into the chest printing, and usually this is faded a little bit on the bottom, but in this fig it just really is the same exact color and just looks really nice. The beard is really good, and you got that microphone again as you do with Anakin. And you have a flip face too, without the microphone, which I think is one thing that Anakin lacks. You don't have that face that has the microphone and then doesn't have the microphone. So I think that's a really good thing they did with Obi Wan. But no arm printing on this, but the leg printing and the way that just flows into the chest printing is really good. Again, I'd probably give this a 10 out of 10 fig. I don't have any problems with this one. So we'll plop Obi Wan back in there. And he too has a control panel in his cockpit, as you can see right there. That was not a sticker piece. Don't like the sticker piece control panels. They just get really hard to put in. Again, I took the stud shooters out of this one just because I feel like it looks a little bit cleaner. And then you got R4 right here, just his head. And then in here, you can actually hide away the rest of his body, which I like when these sets do this. Anakin's and Plo Koon's don't do this, but it just looks a little better when you have this part hidden. There's no back printing on this astromech, but he's got the red on the front, just like R2-D2 would, but blue. And yeah, R4 is one of my favorite droids, so just a great droid to have in this. And I like how this spins still, but it's just his head. I think it just looks really good. Got the Republic logo on the side here. On the bottom, I just kind of custom made this. It allows me to put this headpiece on and take it wherever I want, essentially, but you'll still have his hood there too. And I just clip that on right there, just like that. If it wants to work, maybe not today. But while I'm doing that, you can see it has a little lightsaber hold too, which is a good addition for these playsets. Those usually have those. And then the back, you got the engines again, looking really good. I liked how these are built rather than just an engine piece. I think the green works very well here, just going into the red, and just the curves of it and just the angles it's got going on look really good. This one had a lot of sticker pieces compared to Anakin's, because you got a few up here, a few right here, some on the sides, and all along this back piece here. There's a lot of stickers for a set, but I mean, it just gives it that clean look. My only complaint about this set is this gap, which you can't notice if you're just displaying it, or even if it's a little angled on a display like that. But when you're looking straight on or straight down, you really notice how wide this gap is, which isn't quite as wide in Anakin's, I feel like. Like, there's still a little gap, but it's not quite as noticeable. And then, especially with Plo Koon, you can't even see a gap there. So I wasn't too thrilled about that, but it's still a super clean build. Probably my favorite of these 3 Starfighters we're going to review today. I give this a 10 out of 10. I think this is one of the best, if not the best, sets to come out in that wave of last summer in 2022. It'd either be this or the ATT-E, which we'll be reviewing at some point too. That's a fantastic set, but I would give this probably a 9.5 out of 10 for sets. This is just really good, really solid build. Even though it's a cheap $25 set, you can pick it up for $23 now. Great display piece. Alrighty, and then next up we got Plo Koon Jedi Starfighter. This set came out in 2010 and is probably my second favorite of these 3 Starfighters. I would say the least fun build experience of the 3, but I love Plo Koon, one of my favorite Jedis, and blue's my favorite color, so just having those 2 things alone makes this set worth it for me. To buy it new, sealed, is like $200 to $250 now, so I'm a college student, don't really have the money for that, but I was able to find it used online for probably 20 bucks, and then I found the Plo Koon and the R7 separately for about 10-15 each. And this Plo Koon fig, I've always wanted Plo Koon. Finally got one, so I'm really happy about that. Great fig, one of my favorite figs I have. Just some of the detailing we get on him is a little plain, but like it's kind of what's to be expected from a 2010 set. But just the detail on his rubber printed head is just fantastic. I was lucky enough to get a used one that has very minimal chipping on the side. You'll notice that usually when you get used pieces like this, these parts are very chipped. That's what makes Shock T's very hard to get now, and Plo Koon's, is this stuff chips often. And it's very easy to chip, so having one that had minimal damage to it was very nice. No leg printing, no arm printing. Like I said, that's kind of expected from a set of this time period, but it's still just a clean figure. You got a nice torso piece there. No printing on the back, but the head really just makes up for any lack of detail, in my opinion. Just a really great figure and just looks really good, and they did a really good job of being accurate to the movies and the Clone Wars show. And then we have Plo Koon's Astromech R7. D4, which just looks really good here. Again, same thing as those older R2 units back around this time were not as much detail on the front and no back printing, obviously. But just kind of like a brown, almost reddish color. It's hard to tell, but it's pretty much brown, a little bit of red in there. But just looks really good, I think. Really adds to the set, just gives it a very different color contrast compared to where Obi Wan's droid R4 is red and Anakin's is blue. Without a lot of blue though, obviously an R2 sticking out of Anakin, so this just gives it a really good contrast and it fits well with Plo Koon, and definitely a probably 7 or 8 out of 10 astromech droid ride. As we take a look inside Plo Koon's cockpit, it's definitely the most detailed of the three, which I like a lot. I like how there's the buttons and little gadgets on the side and the front. These are all sticker pieces though, so those were a challenge to put on. But just looks a really good cockpit. One of my biggest complaints about this is this piece. Obviously, is a 2010 set, so this is to be expected compared to these pieces that just flap open, allow for easy access and just look a little cleaner. But it still looks good. You can't, unfortunately, see Plo Koon in the cockpit super well though. In this lighting from the side you can, but just when you're displaying them, it's a little hard to tell who's in there. So not a huge fan of that, but I mean, again, for the time period this came out in, this is over a decade old, so it's not too bad for what you're getting. But if we take that off, you can see, and we'll take Plo Koon out, there's a little stud Technic piece in there, and so it's just a little play feature it has, and then we'll set Plo Koon in there, and down here you can see this black button. And if you come over here, push the black button up, it shoots Plo Koon out. So it doesn't work the best when you're trying to display it, but it's a little play feature that was probably good at the time, and I'm sure a lot of people loved. Obviously, if you're a collector just looking to display these, you're not really going to use that. And it does make it a little challenging to put Plo Koon in, just because that kind of sticks out pretty far compared to where you'd normally sit a minifig. But for a good play feature that I can get for a set of this size, and again, when it came out, has the blue striping all the way around, which I really love, and then the little Republic piece too. Minimal stickers compared to the other two, just pretty much right here and in the cockpit and on this. A little in the back, not as much on this side. So looks pretty good. The wing flap, I wish they had some stickers or some printing on, because it just is kind of a big white piece without anything there, but it still just fits with the whole set, especially since they have stickers both here and on the other side here with the Republic logo. I like the little touches of yellow, and like I said, I think the brown contrasts really well and just looks good in comparison to the set. And then you can see the wings flap up like this, which I think actually looks pretty good, because you can kind of get that flat look or display it with that tilted look like the other two have. But I like the variation you can have there. And then the two engines on the bottom there, you can see very old design of engines, and doesn't quite look the best today, but we see those on the Anakin Starfighter too. They just have a little bit added on to them. As you can see, you got the same piece, but just a little bit added onto the back there to give it more detail, which this one does not have. But again, like I'll say with everything with this, expected for the time. It's over a decade old, so you can't ask for too much in that regard. I'd probably give this a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. I love the set, so for me this is one of my favorite sets I own. But I also understand that like it doesn't quite hold up to the time, just like with the lack of printing here, this cockpit not necessarily being the best done, and just kind of some of the designs just don't hold up to today's standards for Lego Star Wars. But one of my favorites, one of my favorite Jedis, and one of my favorite colors, so it just kind of all works together with me. I love the striping on this thing, so for me personally, probably a 9 or 10 out of 10. But again, if I was to kind of give like a genuine opinion without my personal bias of the character, I'd probably say around that 6 to 7 range, just because I understand it's not everyone's favorite and doesn't quite hold up to the designs of today. But overall, 3 great sets. I'm hoping to collect Mace Windu's, Ahsoka's, and even Peel's Starfighters in the future, but Mace Windu's retails for over $300 now, so that one might be a little hard to get. But yeah, we got Anakin's and Obi Wan's, which on their own look great together. If you're gonna have one of these, you gotta have the other. It's kind of a package deal at this point, and you can still get them fairly cheap. This one's still in stores for about $23-30, and then this one you can find online for under $40 new or used, either way. but those two alone just look really good together. Obviously, it's not the Jet Interceptors, they're the Starfighters, but still just always reminds you these colors of that classic scene from the beginning of episode 3. And then I think all the Starfighters look so good, so to just add this one is just a great addition to anyone's collection that you're trying to make. We display all 3 sets together, just a really clean, solid look from all of them. They all just, especially these two with the white, just flow together. You got the similar main color of stripes with this one yellow, white, and then white coming down, but the different variations on the side. Just a lot of unique designs, and they just look really solid together with these Jedis. Overall, I want to keep collecting these, and just a great collection for any Lego Star Wars fan to start. And like I said, you can still get, especially these two, for fairly cheap. This one's going to be harder to get for that cheaper range, under 50, 60 bucks, but if you just look hard enough, you can get them for all under about $50.